What's the wildest thing you've seen a teacher ignore? I was volunteering at my son's elementary school when I heard glass shattering from the art room. I rushed down the hallway and found chaos. Paint everywhere, broken pottery scattered across the floor, and in the center of it all, a teacher's aide named Mrs. Blackwood had an 8-year-old boy pinned against the wall with his throat. His feet were barely touching the ground, his face turning red as he gasped for air. 3 other children cowered in the corner, paint covered and trembling. Mrs. Blackwood's grip tightened as the boy clawed at her hands, desperate for air. I looked for the head teacher, Ms. Hartwell, expecting her to intervene immediately. Instead, she sat calmly at her desk grading papers, glancing up occasionally with mild annoyance, as if a choking child was just another Tuesday disruption. "Excuse me," I called out, my voice cracking with disbelief. "That child can't breathe." Mrs. Blackwood's eyes met mine with cold calculation. She loosened her grip just enough for the boy to gasp, but kept him pinned. "He destroyed my art supplies. He needs to learn consequences." Ms. Hartwell finally looked up from her papers. "Is there a problem here?" she asked me, not Mrs. Blackwood. Before I could respond, Mrs. Blackwood slammed the boy harder against the wall. His head made a sickening thud against the concrete. "Stop!" I shouted, stepping forward. The boy's lips were turning blue. Ms. Hartwell stood up slowly, but not to help. "Mrs. Blackwood handles discipline her way. These children need structure." The boy's eyes were rolling back as he struggled weakly against the aide's grip. I pulled out my phone and started recording. "You're watching a child being strangled and calling it discipline?" Mrs. Blackwood immediately released the boy, who collapsed to the floor, gasping and coughing. "He's fine," she snapped. "Just dramatic." The boy curled up, holding his throat, unable to speak. Ms. Hartwell's face went white when she saw my phone. "You can't record in here without permission. Delete that immediately." "Not happening," I replied, kneeling beside the boy who was still struggling to breathe normally. "I'm calling 911 and the principal." "Wait," Ms. Hartwell rushed over, suddenly concerned. "Let's handle this internally." Mrs. Blackwood was just maintaining classroom order. The boy finally managed to whisper, She said she'd unalive me if I told anyone." His voice was hoarse, his neck already showing dark bruises. Mrs. Blackwood's mask slipped completely. "He's lying. These kids always lie to get attention." I kept recording as the principal burst through the door, followed by the school nurse. The nurse immediately began examining the boy's throat while the principal watched my footage with growing horror. "Call the police," the principal ordered. "Now." Mrs. Blackwood tried to leave, but the principal blocked the door. "You're not going anywhere until officers arrive." Ms. Hartwell attempted damage control. "This is all a misunderstanding. Mrs. Blackwood has been with us for years." "Years of what?" I interrupted, still filming. "How many other children has she hurt?" The police arrived within minutes. They arrested Mrs. Blackwood for child violence. Ms. Hartwell was suspended pending investigation for failure to protect students. The boy was taken to the hospital for evaluation. As they led Mrs. Blackwood away in handcuffs, she glared at me with pure hatred. "You've ruined my career over nothing, Beech." "No," I replied, watching paramedics carefully examine the boy's injuries. "This is what happens when monsters hide behind classroom doors."